Thank you, Game Up, for sponsoring the podcast. Game Up's a hard hydration and adult beverage with a special blend of electrolytes. Comes in 4 great flavors currently: fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape.
Absolutely. Full flavor, low carb, and only 110 calories per can. And we thank you, Game Up, for sponsoring the show. We had a card this past weekend.
Normally we go over the co-main and main event. They were as disappointing as we figured the card would be. Bummer for, I assume, you as well, but Tyson Pedro retired after his decision loss to Vitor Petrino. And also it's sad. He basically has to do it because, well, number one, he doesn't see himself being champ, which is probably accurate at this point. But number two, and the really sad part is he can't afford to be a fighter anymore. Even though he's been a professional fighter in the UFC for years and years, he can't afford to be a fighter anymore. So that just goes back to fighter pay. Obviously, we don't need to get into that. We got a lot to cover today. But then the main event, Rosenstruck, his takedown defense was improved. Shamil's takedown offense was terrible. And then he couldn't see out of his eye. And his corner basically was kind of lying about it. Shout out to Mark Goddard for being on top of that and making the translator translate exactly what he said. We give the refs a lot of crap when they make bad decisions, so we need to call them out when they do a good job, I think, too. And so shout out to Mark Goddard for that. Really, the highlights of the card were earlier fights on the prelims and such. So shout out to Steve Erceg, I think is how his name is pronounced. He got a vicious left hook KO over Matt Schnell, and Vinicius Oliveira landed that killer flying knee up against the cage. Absolutely brutal knockout. I thought the opponent was dead for a while. He was down for a long time. Yeah, so that kind of saved the card.
Absolutely. And Mark Goddard, that guy deserved a performance bonus, like you said. Just chasing after that corner. Good on him. Wasn't really a memorable card, but this weekend,